Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm super excited that MXL just announced for Diablo 2 Season 31, which is going to be starting very soon in just about a week over here on July 1st. So let's go ahead and go over briefly what's coming out in this new season. Now, since I know a lot of you guys may have followed me for Diablo Immortal or Diablo 3, I haven't covered MXL in a while, but they're just releasing a new season, which is quite awesome. Now, this is a free Diablo 2 expansion that is a fan-made mod, and as you guys can see, there are multiple skill trees. Characters and classes play completely different than normal vanilla Diablo 2. I also do want to mention that it does not run on Diablo 2 Resurrected. You actually have to have Diablo 2 in terms of like the original copy of it to actually play it. But that said, let's go ahead and go over the patch notes, just because I know there's a lot of like newer players that may have not actually heard of MXL, but like I said, there are so many cool things with this mod that it's definitely great if you guys are maybe burnt out of the regular vanilla Diablo and want to try something new. This is a phenomenal mod over here. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and go over like what's coming out and what are these new changes. So first off, one thing that is very important is going to be the attack ground for melee skills. Instead of holding your shift to actually attack, you can actually just utilize some new mechanic that they're introducing, being able to just have attack on the ground, which is going to be cool. I'm curious to see how it works, but you can still do like the name lock feature where basically you just hold your mouse over the person and it's going to continuously attack, right? But I do like this feature, especially for ground-based skills that can maybe hit for AoE or do certain things. They mentioned that like on attack procs will only trigger if the main swing targets an enemy, so it still technically has to register on something, but this is a very nice quality of life change, and it still could technically be a bit buff in certain areas. I know for like a lot of the melee builds, you want some sort of thing that does splash damage or something that does AoE, right? So this can be very good, which is awesome. They mentioned some of the skills that will be able to be utilized for it, so I highlighted them over here. If you guys do want the full read, because I don't plan to read every single piece of text here, I'm just going to give you guys like the too long didn't read version of it, because I think that that is more appropriate here. And then there's several skills that triggered a buff on attack have been converted to a buff. Specifically Moonstrike is going to be nice because I did like utilizing that skill, but some of the skills that just kind of got moved over. So in terms of new builds, because I'm always interested in playing like, you know, the newer build for the season, or, you know, basically the new content here, they're introducing the Storm Amazon, which is going to be adding some new skills, mechanics, and streamlined hammer and thunder specs. So they mentioned that the Storm Amazon was initially conceived as a tree that could be played as a spellcaster. Basically, they're adding some new like mechanics to the skill tree. So they're adding Hammer Path, which is a weapon damage specialist, can throw hammers in multiple forms and take and make them bounce off of walls into deadly concentrated explosions at your cursor location. So I'm wondering how that's going to work. Does that like bounce off of targets as well? When they bounce, do they do more damage? Those are the kind of things that I'm interested in doing. So definitely going to be making a Storm Amazon. They also have a new tree on neutral skills that provides useful stats to both of the different paths that you can select. And it also periodically discharges nearby enemies. So I'm guessing some mechanic maybe similar to like the Sorceress and Vanilla's like Thunderstorm, just every once in a while I get some extra damage. Pretty cool stuff indeed. And then I think they show off the gameplay over here, just a screenshot. But there's also Thunder Path, which is a spellcaster special that calls in deadly storms upon their enemies. New conductivity upgrade makes Storm Call deadlier than ever with a chance to proc as Kari Lightning on hit. So I'm probably going to go some variant of like hybrid if I can. There are some builds where like you technically cannot hybrid out everything in MXL for D2. But yeah, we'll try out basically everything. If we have to reset via like skill mechanics, we can reset the skill tree. But they're also talking about early game balance. Okay, just as a heads up, MXL is not the most beginner friendly. I have made like a kind of a beginner's guide to it, so definitely check the pinned comment on that, because I'll show you guys how to like install and download it, and then on top of that, like a brief little tutorial on like kind of the ins and outs. But keep in mind, this game always changes, so some things could be outdated in terms of the skills, but it's a great beginner guide for people that are brand new to MXL, because there's so much knowledge in this game that you need. It almost kind of reminds me of Path of Exile if you guys have played that. There's just, you kind of need a guide just to get through the game. So the game is actually pretty difficult for certain builds up until like, they say Act 3 normal difficulty. The spike in character progress granted by the deterministic nature of both tiered uniques and the ability to farm shards makes it all more difficult to accomplish a difficulty curve that feels streamlined in both in gameplay and number scaling. We're brainstorming ideas to address these issues in the long term. We continue to notice certain skills underperforming in the pre-30 level range. So more likely some sort of like buff. I think that getting some of those like arcane crystals could be a little bit easier. That would be a great choice because basically you can craft your uniques in this game, and it's very, very easy and consistent for new players to craft a lot of the different uniques in this game. So I think that would probably be a better way, maybe just dropping more of like the shards in the very beginning, or even just dropping maybe for the first time you can get like a crystal. That'd be nice, so that way you don't have to keep on farming the bosses. But technically it doesn't take too long, so that's my thoughts on that. But anyways, the next patch will feature multiple improvements at this stage for a variety of builds with some minor density and area level improvements on the side. But in terms of the endgame content, they're also adding endgame content. So not only is there something new to play, and I'm 100% playing this, but on top of that, there's early game build balance, and then there's endgame content here. So here's what we got. In addition to the changes in the early game, we're also making improvements on the opposite end. This goes from revamping quests that we feel have outdated mechanics to making further improvements to the end game farming loop, both in terms of playability and drop rate. So they mentioned the Astrographa over here. They completely reworked the boss fight to keep the theme of the original, being more lore friendly. No longer extremely punishing for melee characters, removing one-shot debuff mechanics. Yeah, melee characters in general in Diablo 2 have always been kind of on like the harder end of play for sure, especially since there's mechanics that you gotta like dodge in here. They split it into 2 different phases. They made it so like the life roll and the charms just got increased. So the base is now 200 to 500, used to be 100 to 500. So nice little buff over there. And then in the Dimensional Labyrinth plus Demos over here, they overhauled the reward structure to make the zone more rewarding, give a better sense of progression. So the Dimensional Key Charm now has 50% chance to drop from the corrupted heroes on yellow floors rather than Demos. So that could be quite nice. And then on top of that, there are 4 different types of base charms as opposed to 1. Each slayer 2 different archetypes: physical, weapon, elemental weapon, and caster and summoner. Max 1 charm per character. So what it comes down to is you can transmute one of every depleted Riftstone with the charm. It adds some extra Magic Fine, and it goes to 75% Magic Fine over here. And then with the Trial of Purity, you can transmute a rare mini-boss drop, start, chart, pieces, and dream fragments. And then it adds bonuses depending on the charm base. So you get 75 enhanced weapon damage, or 16 innate elemental damage, or 30% spell damage, or 100% minion damage. So these are all great things over there. And then at the end of the invasion, if you defeat Demos, you get to add a bonus to your dimensional key. It's 5% deadly strike, or 100 to 200 tri-elemental damage, or spell focus bonus, or 5% maximum life and mana. So nice stuff to get as well. And then Trial of Nephilim complete the above 3 quest reward. It unlocks the final 2 hard mode quests. So Occult Smithing, you get to defeat Demos with exactly 3 optional difficulty modifiers. The reward unlocks the Occult Effigy upgrade recipe. Transmute 2 identical effigies to receive a higher tier, unlimited uses. And then with the Dimensional Alchemy, defeat Demos with exactly 5 optional difficulty modifiers. Rewards unlocks the relic crafting recipe. Transmute a depleted Riftstone 10 to receive a random relic, and that has 5 charges. So that's going to be cool to get all these like harder difficulties. I mean, Path of Exile has been adding this too, so it's cool to see other action RPGs make it so like there's more rewards depending on the difficulty. But there is more stuff, and one thing I can respect with Median XL, they don't reveal everything, so you gotta actually play the game sometimes to check out stuff. And I like that. I like that idea. They mentioned that there's also things in the Discord over here, but people are really excited about those, and I am too. I'm glad to get back into like Diablo 2. Heck, I was even thinking about the other day, I was talking about it, is going back to the Hell 2. They actually have a massive amount of updates. If you guys don't know what this mod is, because I'm a huge Diablo fan, so I play like a lot of these Diablo mods. This one in particular is really crazy. They have so many perks. This is for Diablo 1, by the way. I'm just kind of talking about this because I know there's so many people that maybe follow me for Diablo Immortal, since I've been dropping lots of videos on this. But at the core, I'm more of a Diablo 1, 2 guy. I mean, I have been playing a lot of Diablo 3 also in the past like year, but like I'm at the core, I love Diablo 1 and 2 the most out of the series. But there's a lot of great, fantastic fan mods. And by the way, these are all free to download and actually play, but there's just so much more Diablo content that I should be covering up in the next few days. But yeah, like I said, Season 31 starts July 1st, and we'll be definitely uploading some gameplay of probably like my first like 20 minutes or something like that, so I can give you guys another introduction and first impression impressions of the new season, and we'll be playing that new Storm Amazon with some variant of some hammer throwing skills, which will be very, very fun indeed. But yeah, I'll also be live streaming it, so if you are new here and you do want to catch me playing this live, and if you guys have any questions on like install, I can try to help you guys out, because I mean it's pretty easy. You just like unrar some stuff, but for the most part, again, check the pinned comment. There will be some extra videos to get you guys started on Media XL, because yeah, it is a completely new experience. I highly recommend you guys to watch it, just so when you guys download it, if you guys do plan to, you're not going to be completely lost. And you guys can see I already have like a blink skill on the assassin, and we're just early on in the game. It's awesome. Like I said, Median XL has been one of my favorite mods for a long time, and I haven't checked it out in a while. But anyways, thanks for tuning, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new and you want to see more new stuff in the future with Diablo as well as other games, subscribe, turn on the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and I'm out. Peace.